Welcome to the Divine Feminine Podcast, where I am your host, Priestess Hanira Abunu. Here I support women in learning and applying the divine feminine principles into their lives. We talk about lifestyle, family, culture, and spirituality, all from a traditional African perspective. Welcome to the safe space. Welcome back. Wherever you are, open the window, get some sun, get a breeze in. Springtime is here. Even though we're quarantined, we need to make sure we get some sun. So come on in, open the door, open the window. It's going to be a great hour. So I wanted to start the hour actually with just giving a brief recap and talking a little bit about last episode 4. And the ending of episode 4 really was like the meat and potatoes of the episode, where we went over how to make your altar space, right? Like how to construct it, what you need to do, what physical components you needed to put in to make it. And in that, I wanted to just kind of refresh or go over some things, because when you start this spiritual walk, a lot of you, it may have started before even now. Ancestors may have been calling you and you didn't even know. Right? What are some of the things that bring you closer to your ancestors and increase your spiritual journey? Wearing our natural hair. And, some of you listening may be like, what do you mean? Aren't we born with our natural hair? Yeah, but, depending on, your life and what you've been exposed to, the way you've been raised. I know in this Western culture, they accentuate and their standards of beauty are a little different, right? So sometimes we have to get back to our natural look, be in whatever your look is, and being okay with yourself and the skin that you're in. So if your hair is curly, wearing it curly. If your hair is, long and bushy, being okay with it being long and bushy. So wearing your natural hair, getting rid of, fake hair, weaves, lace fronts, extensions. Now all those, they can give you a certain look, but that's when you start to get back to the ways of your ancestors and indigenous ways, the closer you get to nature. This is on your walk. Within that, another way, within the hair, right? Those of us who have had locks, where you allow your hair to naturally coil and tighten. That is another, I don't want to say ascension tool, but it's another way to connect and draw you closer to your ancestors. Dietary changes, right? The closer you get to natural foods that are grown and blessed by the sun, that grow above ground, that are alive, and you get away from things that are in a box and pre-prepared or frozen or all of those things. So when you have certain dietary changes, they also that also is like a call or a closeness, allows you to get closer to your ancestors. And one more thing I just want to bring up is being an entrepreneur. And I don't want to take that lightly. That's, One thing that is calling on a lot of people right now is, in this time, we're in the end of April. I believe all of the 50 states right now are all on lockdown, or at least most of them. I would say most of them are on quarantine. And, millions of Americans have lost their jobs, and we're at home. We're at home and we're having to transform ourselves. And so in looking at that, a lot of us are entering into entrepreneurship for the first time. So all of these things changes in your life are kind of guides, by the ancestors to get you closer, to draw them closer, to draw you closer to them. So all of this, you may have noticed this in your life, coming to you, calling to you before now, so now you're at the point where, you're putting together your ancestral altar. And we talked last week about, where in the house it needs to be, being in an area where your humanness isn't happening, right? You're in an area where you're not having sex, in an area where you're not eating or using the bathroom, right? We want to make sure we don't have our altar in those areas. We want to have them in a sacred preserved space. So, yeah. And what's on the altar, right? We just talked about, in the beginning, and you can get fancy, you can jazz it up, however, your mind, intellect, and you're being called or drawn to do it. But in the beginning, you want to start out with something simple. You just want to have a table. I would suggest a white sheet on the table. You can put, traditional cloth, or, if it's maybe a blanket your grandmother made or something that's close to the family, you can put that as a tablecloth on there. But you want to make sure that you have it covered. You put something to cover it. Like I said, just starting out as a beginner, I would say put a white cloth or a white sheet on it. I would have candles in the space. Just starting out, I would offer or suggest white candles. Very simple, very plain. Represents purity. Ancestors love white. Ancestors love purity. So there's nothing wrong with having white candles with a white sheet. And then you want to have pictures of your loved ones, right? You want to have pictures. You want to have memorabilia of them. You want to have keepsakes. You want to have all of their essence there. If you maybe don't have pictures, you can write their names, and put them there. If you're saying, I don't know too many members in my family who have passed away, I'm putting together my family tree, and maybe I just have a couple of names. That's okay. You can start there. Whatever your heritage is, I would start putting some memorabilia there. You can put certain keepsakes from your culture. I'm an African. I'm from the continent of Africa, so you'll see all type of keepsakes and artifacts and things in my ancestral altar that come from the continent or would remind me of the continent. I know plenty of people who have gone home, and when I say home, I mean gone to Africa, and they come back with ground, with the sand, with the dirt, and that's very powerful. Make sure if you do that, though, that you give an offering back to the ground before you take it, and you ask for permission and for blessings before you do that. What's an acceptable offering? You can give a piece of your hair. That's always, you have that on you. You can just give that and offer that. So make sure you don't take any sand or ground without first offering something. So you can have the candles, you have the white sheet, you have the pictures of your ancestors, you have, keepsakes in your altar space. And let's see, so we have the earth, we have the light, we have candles, fire. When you go, you can bring a glass of water. So then you'll have all 4 elements there. When you are going to sit and meditate and pray and lament and speak to them and have your time with them. So I just wanted to go over that. That's a recap from last week. The other things that I wanted to touch on just to remember in preparing and putting your spaces, that you need to commit time, right? You don't want to set up your altar and just have it there and never go there and never sit in that space and never spend time with the space. Not only are you remembering your loved ones who come before you and whose blood you carry, but it's also the self-care. It's also remembering yourself and giving time for yourself and blocking out everything else, push it away and make time for you. Boom. That's good. This time is blocked off for me. And you go and you sit and you have quiet time. And that's good. So remember those things. Remember those 4 things when you're putting your altar space together. The preparation, the routine, the placement of everything, where it needs to be placed in your home, and to have the 4 elements as well as, pictures of your ancestors and things like that. So that is a recap of last week, and I'm excited, right? I'm a little winded, but I'm excited because over the weekend, for those of you who have been following the Divine Feminine podcast and are friends with me on social media, you know that over the weekend we had the first Divine Feminine retreat. And when COVID-19 first came, it was around the same time. It came right after I had announced the retreat. And I was going to cancel it, honestly. And if you look around, most people who had retreats during this time have canceled their retreats. They've had to. We've all had to. But I tell you, every time I did a divination, so I did the readings, every time I did it, they told me I couldn't cancel. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't cancel? So I just said, okay, well, they're saying it's going to be a successful retreat. You can't cancel. And I didn't understand, but I just, continued to walk, as a priest. My life is, I'm a servant and I'm their servant. And so my life, I submit to them. And so if the divinities are saying, keep moving forward, then guess what? There I go. I'm moving forward in that direction. And so, that's what they were telling me up until, the last week. I think I checked twice. That last week I was, are you sure? Because all this time I'm thinking, okay, well, something will change. No, more people kept canceling, kept having to refund money. And I understood people couldn't get flights out. If they did, it was like they were quarantined 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. It just didn't make sense for people to travel. And if they were local, locally, it just, People wanted to be with their families. They didn't want to go out and expose themselves and then come right back. And I understood that. And I said, okay, but you're saying to move forward. So we moved forward. So we had the Divine Feminine retreat this weekend. And let me just say, so I had to change venues to a smaller venue. And that was, a little bit of a challenge, but it was okay. The host was okay with me making, the cancellation and everything. That was pretty seamless. But I couldn't find a new place. And I was like, where do you want this to be? I found a couple places and I kept presenting them, trying to get approvals. And the divinities were like, nope to this place. Nope to this place. This next place, absolutely no. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept looking. I finally came up with a place. It was like a ranch way out. For those of you who know, we're based in San Diego, California. And so, initially it was by the water and, just great space. And so I was looking for similar spaces. They didn't want anything by the water. They didn't want anything inland. And so I just kept going further east and further east. And for those of you who know Southern California, the further east you go, the hotter it is. It just keeps getting hotter and hotter because you're like going towards Arizona, towards the desert. And it becomes like Vegas weather. It's scorching hot. And so I said, okay, we finally found a place. It was beautiful, at least beautiful online. And I said, well, what about this place? Can you, what do you think about this place? Can you give me the green light on this place? And I tell you, I think I booked the venue 48 hours. I booked the venue 48 hours before the retreat. But all things are in divine timing. And when you submit to that, I wasn't nervous. I knew, the right place would come available for us. And, you learn a lot of patience and you learn to submit your will. You learn to have a plan, but to be flexible and to flow like water. And that's one of the things in, practicing the Divine Feminine principles and embodying the Divine Mother's energy. The Divine Feminine, that's like water energy. It's like it flows. And so, again, I had my structure. I had my plan, but I was still flowing and listening to the way they wanted it to be, because they can see a lot further than me. So they know what success looks like and how they want it to be. So we got the place, we got the venue, and we get there on Friday, and the women are just, elated. They love the place, they love the venue. We get there, and the host just had all types of nice amenities for us, things that weren't even posted on the website. They were just, just really good to us. And that was like one of the first signs. I said, okay, this is going to be good. And so we start going through with the plan. And immediately the divinities changed the plan. And I said, are you okay? So we did as much as we could on Friday. We had different activities planned. There were certain clearings and baths and spiritual things that we did Friday evening. And we started that process. It was great. And the intent of the retreat. So all week, let me go back. So all week I had been putting the intention into the retreat. It was supposed to be, springtime. So it was a cleanse. It was a spring clearing, spring cleanse. And I had came up with that, or they had given me that, I should say, giving respect to them, earlier in the year. And so all week I was just invoking for the cleanse to happen, for each person there to prepare them for a clearing, because we wanted them to leave with all of the blessings and all of the wishes that they had being fulfilled from the Divine Mother, from their ancestors. We wanted to clear and clean their energy so that they can receive and attract all of the things that they wanted to achieve or ascend to in the second, third, and fourth quarters of the year. So that's what I had been invoking. That was the energies I had been pouring libations to. That was the offerings I had did, and the words that I had been calling over this particular retreat. Those words to cleanse, to purge, and to clear, to empty us out of all the things that keep us from moving in the direction that we want to move to. And so that was what I had been calling for. And so there were certain rituals on Saturday that I had lined out, certain prayer circles. We were supposed to, those who watched the live that I did on Facebook, preparing the women, we were going to go hiking. There was a portion of time where we were going to do our silent fast, or time with your ancestors to reflect. There were all of those things. We were going to do those in the mountains, in the hike. We were going to go hiking in the trails and just have time in nature. It was all about reconnecting with nature and clearing and purging any energy that wasn't serving to us. Well, I tell you what, I woke up early Saturday morning. And as a priest, I'm trained, every morning to check the energies. Every morning I do an energy check. That's a reading or a divination to see how the day is going to go. How the day is going to go for me, for those around me. Anything that we need to adjust, anything that we say should or shouldn't do. You check the energy in the mornings. And I checked the energies early that morning. And they were just saying, you're not going to do any of the things you have planned. And I'm like, what? Why not? I didn't get it. And they were just, nope, you're not going to do this. Nope, you're not going to take the hike. Nope, you're not going to be in nature. Nope, you're not going to do any of the circles. Nope, you're not. And I'm like, what? Well, what are we going to do? I had this whole plan, out for them. I had, everyone had their journals. Everyone had their, what other gifts did I bring? For the ladies, we had, they had the journals. They had their outfits. So we weren't all dressed alike, but we were all dressed in similar ways for the weekend, in clothes that or cloth that allowed us to breathe and flow and let our femininity shine, and to give life to us, and to also, this is good, to also prepare us for our trip to Africa. And so I'm like, but I had all of these things. What do you mean we're not going to do these things? And so I just said, again, I'm telling myself, flow like water. So I said, well, tell me the plan that you have for me. Tell me what you would like done. And they proceeded early that morning and giving me the lineup for each woman that was there. Each woman had a specific plan, and it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful how their ancestors had all come and delivered a plan that was unique to each woman. I'm so moved, even trying to explain this right now. I'm just touched because it's nothing that I could have imagined or thought up or came up with myself. The details of these women's stories and the details of these women's lives and the things that they needed to change in order to ascend to their next level in their becoming process couldn't be made up. It was just wow. And I just would write everything down as they're giving it to me. And I'm getting every little bit down. And if I had questions, I would go back and ask the questions, and they just give me more and more and more and more and more. And I just, by the time I had come out from the morning divination, I come out and you would have thought I put my hand in a socket or something. Like my mind was blown. It was, I was just kind of like, my eyes were wide. They were like, are you okay? I was just like, wow, you guys have no idea what they have for you. I was so excited because not only did they give me all of the things that needed to happen, that they needed to do, the messages that they had for each woman, it was also reflections, and they were also showing the images of them in the future. What they needed to do to get to this higher self, this next level, this image, how to get them from where they are today to this beautiful, prosperous, pure image. All the steps I had written down. I felt like I had gold in my hand, and I was just here as a servant, delivering it to them. Didn't know how they would receive it, but I had to give it to them. And some of the messages I had to give were pretty tough. But there was no way I could not give any of the messages as honest and as clear as it was given to me. I wouldn't rob them of knowing what their ancestors had for them. I just wouldn't do it. And so when I stepped out of the room, and they were just like, wow, are you okay? And I'm like, yes. And, as women, we like to talk, and how did you sleep? How was your rest? And, and we had moments of that. But one of the things the divinities had said was that you guys got to stay on schedule. You guys have so much to do. You can't get caught up in talking and being in your head. And so I had to be mindful of that throughout the weekend. And so we kept the pace. And after that, I met with each woman one by one. I met with each woman, and we went before and gave their consultation. And their consultations also coincided with the earlier messages that were given. And I swear there wasn't a woman there. And, I'll be posting some of the comments that the women are sending me, but that are coming in afterwards. But there wasn't a woman there that wasn't blown away by what was told to them. There wasn't a woman there that didn't receive the information where it was just like, nope, I can't. Nope, this isn't mine. That doesn't sound like me. This isn't, these aren't my notes. No. And it was quite the opposite, It was the information, the way the ancestors just came and the divinities just let the information flow. It was so piercing that, a lot of times tears began to flow. And it was just, I knew this time was coming. I know I can handle this. Okay. I knew this was okay. Whatever it takes, I'm ready, And shout out to all the women that were there and the courageousness that they showed in receiving their messages. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And so that's what we did. We listened to what the divinities and the ancestors said. And then we spent the rest of the weekend aligning ourselves with the plan. We did our spiritual baths. We did our clearings. With each bath, it was clearing energy blocks that were within us, that were keeping us from executing the plan. We were also taking our herbs to help cleanse the blood, help with keeping our immune system boosted. We were doing our reflections. It was just a very powerful weekend. The Divine Mother in all her greatness. We did an offering and a ritual to the Divine Mother. And the way she just came with her retreat, it was her retreat. And she gave charters, assignments to each woman for their mission here. And it was great. If you're a mother, I'm a mother. But as a divine feminine, or a divine being rather, embodying the female energy, our jobs as mothers is to prepare our children to survive in this world. That's the role. That's one of our main roles, is to prepare our children to survive in this world. And I tell you, this retreat truly prepared all of us, me included. I got my own, charter, my own assignment, prepared us for transformation. Because right now, the energies are moving and shifting. And we have to move and shift with it in order to be successful and survive in this next phase of life. And so all the women that were there were given the roadmap. And I'm so happy for them, because a lot of us, we have to struggle to figure it out. We're having to, find out, how am I going to live in this next 6 months to the next year if life continues the way it is? How do I reinvent myself? What am I going to do? And I tell you, these women were given a roadmap. All they have to do is follow the roadmap. It was so beautiful, the way things were laid out for them. We just gave thanks all weekend gave thanks all weekend to the Divine Mother. You guys forgive me, I'm like going over my notes. I'm trying to make sure that I don't leave anything out. I prepare for you guys every week, so I just want to make sure I'm getting everything to you. One of the things that was consistent, and because although each assignment was different, there were a couple things that were consistent. But working with the Divine Mother, she again prepares us for survival in this life, and that's just the mother's energy and nature. That's what she's here to do. But the push is uncomfortable. The push is gonna stretch us. It's not easy. And, we have to look at that. And all you can do is, say, well, what is the exchange? What is the reward? And so when they laid out, well, this is what comes in exchange. This is what will be at the end of the road. How many of us would like that, to know, okay, I'm going through all this suffering. It's uncomfortable. I'm changing myself. What is the end game? What's the reward? And to know, wow, this is what I get. And for each woman, it was different, because each person has their own plan, their own destiny, their own thing they're supposed to fulfill. And for each woman, it was worth it. For each woman, it was exactly their heart's desire, exactly the thing that they had wanted, exactly the thing that they held in their heart secretly, never telling anyone. Only the Divine Mother can do that. And they said, in order to achieve this, because that's what you'll need in this next time, this is the roadmap. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it'll be better in the end. And so that became almost like a mantra. And, we would just laugh, because it's like, I've never been here before. This is uncharted territory. I'm afraid, there's a lot of fear, but it's like, okay, we can make it. We can do it. And so one of the things that they were saying, it's so beautiful, and I'll probably end up posting it on my page, honestly, because it relates to a lot of things, and a lot of challenges that we're going through. And I just feel like it's a good mantra, honestly. And they were saying, I'm going to be uncomfortable, but I know I can do it. I will be happier in the end. And it's like, just know that. Just know it's going to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. And you'll be happier in the end. Wherever you are today, you'll be happier. You'll be lighter. You'll be towards your goal in the end. It will take some uncomfortable times, but it's okay. And, those of us who understand, spirituality and understand, the principles of the universe and how things work, it's like you cannot pull or ask anything from existence without first giving, right? And so you have to give first. And they say, well, you gotta, words that you have to give in order to receive. Yes. Yes, you do. And that's not something that someone, in a marketing department somewhere made up. That is a principle, right? The ebb and flow of life. The principle of opposites. You have to give in order to give in order to receive, And so I think I even spoke about that in I think it was episode 1 or episode 2 when I was talking about my journey and some of the things that I had to shed or let go of. It goes with those of you who are researchers and those of you who like to read. It goes with the cycles. It goes with the principle of rhythm. All of those things are what I'm talking about right now. It's like everything in a cycle, and it has a rhythm and a certain cadence in which it flows. And just like with the cycles of nature, the cycle of the day, the sun and the moon, the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, and all of those things, it's like you have to give some pain in order to receive what you need. So you have to go through some darkness in order to achieve the light. You have to, give some sweat. You have to go through some pain. And it's better that way. It's better that way. And so, in exchange, the Divine Mother, we made our commitments. And she put us all on a reset. So, it's, and I said this, if you guys don't follow me on Facebook, follow me at either Hanera Abunu or at Divine Feminine Podcast on Facebook. And I went live on Friday, and I was talking about the retreat and talking about the detox that we're doing in May, and talking about the trip to Africa, which, by the way, the retreat to Africa has been moved to August. The energies are saying that August is more favorable than July, and so that's when we're going. And the focus of the retreat is going to be a little bit different. The focus of the retreat is, instead of going for mainly tourism and spiritual reconnection, We're definitely going for spiritual reconnection. That goes without saying. I'm a priestess, and my temples are in Africa. And so we will definitely go to connect to the motherland, to have a spiritual awakening, and to learn certain aspects of ourselves that we've never known. And so that awakening, that spiritual process, the spiritual work and things that need to get done for people, we will do all of that on this trip. But instead of the rest of the trip being focused on tourism, we're also going to be focusing a big portion of the time now on looking for land and looking for offices and places to move to. So repatriation. So if any of you are looking to repatriate, and even if it's not a full repatriation, right? And what do I mean by repatriation? Because that's a big word. Move to return home to Africa to live. Even if you're not looking to return to Africa to live, maybe you're looking to have roots or connections, a place to go for maybe a couple months out of the year, a place to go to visit. We're looking to have that, to more set our roots in Africa. Me personally, I want to have a retreat set, a place set for you to come and to be able to stay long term. We have the temples in the village there, but more permanent place where me and my family will be, land where we can grow and farm and be self-sustaining, set up a factory to start making and producing some goods, all of those things. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in nation building, if you're interested in, having a place to go to outside of the States, just in case, then you need to email me, you need to DM me, you need to contact me, and we need to have a conversation and see how we can align ourselves. So that's going on about the retreat, the retreat in August to Africa. So that'll again be spirituality and repatriation with a little tourism. We are still going to see some sights and have some fun and enjoy the culture and, enjoy different parts of Africa and things like that. So we are going to do that. It won't be deep, so super deep all the time, but there's just a new focus that's being put on the table. But what I was saying is that the live on Friday, that's what I went over, and I talked about the detox, not knowing. And for me at the time, I was just like, I need to detox. I've been quarantined and I've picked up, a couple pounds, and I got the quarantine belly going on. What's going on? I need to work on this. I just don't feel healthy. I feel heavy. And had no idea that the plan that the Divine Mother had was to connect all of this together. All of this together. So the detox that we're doing, she has asked for everyone at the retreat to do it, and they gladly said yes. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing the detox. Some people, and what it is, it's a jump start into the next phase of life. And so those of you who want to join us in doing the May cleanse, let me know. I have decided to donate all of the spiritual baths and spiritual soaps that we're going to be using for the month. So for those of you who are serious, let me know, and all you have to do is pay for the shipping, and I will send those out to you so you could join in. And then other people have been saying, well, I want to contribute this, or I want to give this. So we're giving gifts to each other. We're building the sisterhood. And this is great, right? All the feminine energy is just bringing us together. And so if you have a business and or you are creative or has a service or talent and you want to share with the ladies as well as we're part of this group, then feel free. And, we welcome it. And if not, then we still want your energy. We still want you involved. We want your words. We want your encouragement, your feedback. We want you to share in the experiences with us, and we want to give to you. So definitely hit us up. We have a private Facebook group that we're going to be, we have people that are donating their time, exercise and fitness trainers that are going to come and train us. So we'll have that. We have the chef Yo-Yo, Chef Yolanda. She's going to be helping us with the alkaline diet so we can raise our vibration, raise our immune system. She's going to be helping us with that. And it's just going to be a great time. And so that was the weekend. And I just, this particular podcast, that was what we're talking about. We recapped on last week, and we just talked about, how wonderful the retreat was and how the retreat prepared us for the May cleanse, the 30-day May cleanse. So it was an amazing, amazing time. The things that we're going to be looking to do with the cleanse and with the detox in May is very powerful. We're going to focus on purging all of the toxins. We're going to focus on eliminating all of the waste in our bodies. We're going to focus on cleaning our organs, right? I have organ cleansers and blood cleansers. If you don't have them or have your favorite brand, I have them. You can reach out to me. I can get them to you before Friday. We're also going to be looking at our habits. What habits do we need to change? What habits do we have that are not helping us with our greater good, helping us in our becoming, keeping us, they're weighting us down and keeping us from ascending to our higher selves. We're going to be looking to shed all of those. Now, I will tell you that, the ladies over the weekend, they got they got a kickstart or a jump start on this because of the divinations and the retreats. But it's not that you can't have the same thing. If you would like to have a reading to find out what your focus should be for May, for the detox, in order to jumpstart you into the second quarter of the year and prepare you for the rest of 2020, then just message me and we'll schedule some time and I'll prioritize it, because you're wanting to do this so that you can start the month of May with us in the cleanse and the detox. It's important. So just let me know. I will say this before I go, that it's going to be a tough journey. We're going to have to discipline ourselves. We're going to have to sacrifice. But it's okay. We can do it. And we'll be happier in the end. So that is kind of where I want to, leave today, is just know that in order to move forward on your spiritual journey, there's going to be things that you have to do. Connecting with your ancestors is definitely one. People like to say higher self, ancestors, your head spirits. They're all the same. You can't get to any entity out there without going through your ancestors first. So all of that is one and the same. In order to connect, you're going to have to shed some of these ways. And again, align yourself with nature and with the Divine Mother in order to get to the next level in your becoming. So I will end it here and just say I look forward to sharing with you. This has been another good week, another episode of the Divine Feminine Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed today. It was good being able to share all of the experiences from the weekend. If you guys have questions, be sure to email me, message me, find me on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm online all the time. Until then, we'll talk next week. Be well. To schedule a spiritual reading, life coaching session, or to order herbs and tonics, please see our website, divinefeminine.net. If you would like information on our trip to Africa in August, please email haneraabunu@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the Divine Feminine Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join the conversation on social media. You can find us on all social media outlets at Hanera Abunu.